Damn it, guys, you're supposed to build it from the inside, not from the outside, you morons. Want to buy miner who won't starve himself to death, please send tell. Will he survive? Let's find out! Yeah, not smarter than the guy who before him, obviously. And I can do this with the stairs or a ramp and then a floor if I really have to, but seriously, come on, guys. Why would you stand there? I've got stuff building there. You're... No sense. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so the reason I did it the way I did it at last was because I'm trying to exploit the natural tendency of the AI to want to stand on certain sides of objects when they construct them. And this is where we start to get into the sort of esoteric knowledge you don't normally pick up in your first time through. When dwarves try to build a wall, for example, a square wall, they will tend to prefer to stand on the west side. And if they can't stand on the west side, they'll try to stand on the east side. If they can't stand west or east, they'll go for the north, and then the south, and then the various diagonals in orders that really aren't important. For whatever reason, if a dwarf refuses to build something from one side or the other, typical chances are he's going to be standing on the west side of the thing you're trying to get him to build. And just like this, I will get around that by moving him around such that when he constructs the object, he's going to be on the west side and in the place where I want him to be. You don't run into it every time, and usually just building this, suspended ring job here would be enough to do it. Sometimes the AI is really adamant about standing in the wrong place, and you'll have to do something about it. It's nice to know that you can if you know how to manipulate the AI. Now, unfortunately, that may mean, depending on your construction, that you may have to excavate more stuff and build it back in to get from the proper side because your guys refuse to do it from the proper place you want them to. But there are ways around it, at least. And now with that done, we should be able to tap magma here. Oh, it's too vertical. Oh, no. Alright, then screw you. We'll do it the hard way. Okay, so this little trick we're getting ready to pull will allow us to safely tap the magma without being on the same floor as the magma we're tapping, and despite the fact that we can't dig straight down. Once our miners get around to it. which could be a minute to be fair, because I've told them to excavate the surface of the world in search of our kill room here.
Sir, here's the list. Looks like we're out of these things here, you see?
Oh, yes. We need to build some of these.
Aha, we have noble. But we've already made his battle axes, so we're good. Now we just need to get him some furniture and stuff set up for his noble house here, basically. Alright, so I missed when he got appointed. Don't! You want to make sure you get your nobles into appropriate quarters as quickly as possible. They get unhappy if they're not, and in addition to being unhappy, they get unhappy to the point where they can actually break and go berserk, for example. This particular noble, the mayor, requires an office, quarters, and dining room, so we only have to build 3 rooms for him. Some of the higher nobles also require tombs, so make sure you reserve space for those. You can get higher quality quarters in a couple of ways, and the easiest one is just to make them bigger. Smoothed walls and engravings are easy ways to upgrade the walls and floors. Building weapon traps with high-value weapons in them will rocket the value of a room.
Four dwarfs have arrived.
Good. Oh, and it's a hell of a wave, too. Nice. 22. Welcome aboard. Pick up your hauler's license on the right. No, that's not working right. I must hit read instead of commit. That was the problem. Okay, there we go. That's fixed. 6 of these lucky maggots get to be appointed into the military corps. So he's a smith. Alright, what we got? Tanner. Not so much. Forge operator. Pff. More gems, more glass making. Okay, maybe. Another stone crafter, definitely. with a level 10 brewer, I think we'll be okay to keep up. We'll be running full out at the limit of our ability to make pots. And there's the last kitchen worker we needed. So now we can run both kitchens and both stills full-time, regardless of labor at that point. It's just a matter of when these guys are off praying or whatever. Alright, so now let's bounce over to military. Do we have any good choppers in this group? We do have an axe dwarf. Degel needs to be our leader because he starts out with some axe dwarf skill. He'll be able to train the others a little bit better. That would be good. Technically, this guy probably should have been in the hammer dwarf squad, but he arrived a little late. My hunters, these guys here, are going to be not technically military as such. I'll put them in a squad, but we're never actually going to draft them onto duty normally. These guys are basically going to be civilian hunters who also train in their off-season time to be better shots. And we'll set up an archery range now, because that's kind of something we've been needing to do. I'm not sure if stuns necessarily apply for Trap of Void, but I can say that things like being webbed do, so being immobilized certainly can. Now that may be just because it's very hard to induce stun reliably atop a trap, but webs can be placed. Thinking maybe we got something runaway in our great job. Oh, no, that's our bookcases, which we knew we made 40,000 billion million of. Yeah, okay, so we need to do something like that, like mega library. So off the dining room here. Yeah, and we'll start to fill this space in with bookcases. This will be the entry foyer to the grand library. Slowly stuff is starting to filter out of that stockpile, and once we've got it good and empty, we'll know we can build it into a tavern. Well, now here's the catch on the combat logs. When you're going through them, they're organized roughly together. So, temporally speaking, if we knew who this guy was fighting, we unfortunately we've waited too long now to know who the Forgotten Beast was fighting now. But you can go back and look at, say, the sparring event here, Adis. Okay, smashes the Babadabada military smasher. So I know which of my guys is military smashers, so I can say, oh, well, Adis and Melville are probably the ones that are fighting here. So here's a charge, a collide, and a knocked over. Okay, so we'll back up and look at this one. Here's a charge, a collide, and a knocked over. Charge, a collide, and knocked over. So there's two in a row on this one. There's a charge with a jump away. So these are probably not the same combatants, but there's going to be a set that will. Here's a charge, a collide, and knock over several times in a row. We can probably put it together who's fighting whom, if you really want to. Now, there's a workaround if you don't. It's really obnoxious if you didn't do it up front, and if you're dead set on not losing the fort, and you don't have a save to go back to, well, okay, if you're a new player, I guess you could cheat. Here's how you do it. Crack open Therapist, and you can go into, let's see, I think it's in the settings, the options. And then under the I'm a Dirty Cheater section right here, clearly I'm a Dirty Cheater section, you can highlight Cursed Dwarves. Click, bang. Dwarves who have a curse like Vampirism or Lycanthropy will be highlighted in the list and can be easily segregated immediately in Dwarf Therapist and then drafted into a squad, moved into a cell, walled up, and forgotten about. You know, if you're just going to be a dirty cheater, etc. Generally, however, the way to fix that problem is you literally have to be on top of it when it happens. You'll know who it's fighting immediately. You'll be able to check the combat logs right as it's happening and know who you have to be on top of when they come out of it. So many bookcases. This library is going to be enormous. And we've still got probably another 100 or so bookcases that we built, just ground out the wood. No wonder our carpenter's so skilled. Guy was going to be a legendary before he even did his legendary. I limited it back to where it should be. I'll double check. It shouldn't actually be running. I let it finish the last 5 it was on, so we're stockpiling this. Let's see. No. Wheelbarrows and beds, that's it. That's all that's on order at the moment. We can go into the work order. Basically, what was going on is I didn't have the limits in place. The bookcases at most 10, logs at least 10. Those weren't in place, so it was just grinding out our entire wood stockpile on bookcases, just over and over and over and over and over. Just run away. You have to be careful when you set these jobs up that you set them up the way you want. So this job here, for example, if I look at the conditions, I have at most 5 beds. It will create 10 at a go, so it will actually go above that, and it won't start creating them until we drop below 5. Yep, that was my issue. I screwed it up, but fixed. So let's check wheelbarrows, because I didn't check on wheelbarrows the same way, and I noticed they're still running, it seems. So let's verify they have conditions. Yeah, we're good. So there's wheelbarrows being produced.
Wow. Did you see what I did with this? I'm gonna hang on to this.
This also allows us to unclutter the carpenter's workshop, which apparently has been stockpiling bookcases, bins, beds, and so forth for some time now. We're still loading up furniture in the furniture stockpile. Obviously, you don't normally want to have this much excess furniture. I just went really crazy with the bookcases accidentally. I only intended to build 5 at a time. Lesson learned, kids. There you go. So they're still hauling furniture. Still going. Still going. Slowly, the materials continue to filter out of the original stockpile. The tavern nears. And I kind of goofed this. I really shouldn't have done what I did, but that's alright. We'll build something valuable into that socket, because why not? A steel wall. I like it. We'll put 1 steel bar right there in that socket. And then we'll put a door on either side of it. So that this will be the main common room, basically, for our tavern. I'm going to have a small staircase off to one side that will lead, and then there'll be a long set of hallways that goes down. So this will be like a hotel corridor area here, and then it'll go up or down a floor, and there'll be another set for more rooms, more capacity. Don't want any more furniture in here. I want it going into this main stockpile. If we're overfilled, then I'll build another one, but I don't want this stuff going into this stockpile anymore. But the bookcases are going to slowly and steadily get used up as we stockpile them into the library. More bookcases than the rest of the known world combined! Ugh, I know what we haven't been doing that we should have done a long time ago. We never did birds. Now, as the nest boxes are installed, I kind of have to watch them, because what will happen is these guys will immediately start laying eggs and people will run off with them, and I don't want them to get the eggs. At least, not necessarily. The fertilized ones I want to be more chicken, or, well, chickens, peacocks, technically. The non-fertilized ones can be collected for harvest. Unfortunately, there's no differentiation between fertilized and unfertilized over here, so I can't control what goes into this stockpile. You either do it manually, or you flip your egg stockpile on and off. There's a way to do it with door, though, so we've got a door in place. So once all the nest boxes are built and I don't have to worry about it anymore, then at that point we'll put a cage in to hold the chicks when they hatch. That'll be our rearing cage. And then once that's done, we'll lock the door and leave them in there to do their business for a while. Who was it we said had chopping experience? Deggle? Deggle it was. Okay, at this point, with the door locked, no one will disturb the eggs that are in there. They can go on and hatch more chicks. That'll work just fine by me. We've now got 2 squads. We need to get some arms and armor for the new one. So we need to get that forge done. Temporarily have to open this back up. Now what we're really going to do here is we're going to build a magma-safe bridge over this hole. We're going to reseal this wall, and then we're going to send miners into the tunnel underneath. And the miners will actually dig out this row of blocks right here on this floor from below. And then the magma will come sweeping in across this empty space and fill it up. At which point we can either spread out on the floor above and dig additional tunnels if we need them. We can just basically punch holes to get to the magma anytime we need to. If we really wanted to get crazy, we could build glass pump parts and we could pump the magma all the way back up to the top and use it up there. But pump stacks can do nasty things to your frame rate, and I'm trying to avoid that hit as long as possible. So we're not going to do that tonight. I encourage those of you who are interested to go out there and try that. You can use the magma as an offensive weapon when sieges arrive, dump it on them, melt them, burn them, set the whole surface ablaze. Almost there. Now if this works, and it looks like it's going to, now remember, from below, these guys really have no access to that area, but there we go. Magma C, raw adamantine, nice. And a clear image of the magma sea around us a little bit. Okay, good, good. We're pretty deep. We could probably go up another couple of floors here and dig ourselves, yeah. So right, maybe out here, we could dig out across the top of the magma and put a real forge in if we want to. But this will do plenty for now. Now you'll see the magma come flooding in. That's okay. We want that to happen. It'll fill that empty chamber, and then we'll punch holes into this chamber from above. Safely. Magma, unlike water, does not flood upward, and therefore we don't have to worry about it flooding out of the holes. Once it gets to at least a 4 across most of this, we'll start punching holes. Good, good. That'll get us the same setup we had upstairs, only we'll be doing it in magma this time rather than in standard fueled versions. And we don't currently have an anvil, so we'll have to go upstairs and disassemble our existing one. Which unfortunately is tying up the only anvil we still have. All of these can be disassembled. We will no longer be doing forging on this floor. I'm going to strip down all the stockpiles related to forging in this area. The bar stockpile here and the stone ore stockpile here, and we'll start those up again downstairs. I haven't yet. We don't know whether the first crash was actually text will be text. I can drop 5.7 in as long as it's compatible with 4303. I guess we could try it out as a precautionary measure. Let's do that. I can download that real fast. Won't take but 2 seconds to grab it. Okay, so now that we've exited Dwarf Fortress, it's saved and all. I want to show you guys something over here. It's not necessarily always useful, but can come in handy. If you have DF hack handy and you say, for example, you want to make sure you exit but you don't want to save, you can just type die in the console, and dfhack will kill off the Dwarf Fortress process, and it will end. And now we're up to 5.7 on text will be text, so we've got the new version now. We'll give it a go. I don't have to wait on Meph to respond, I guess. Yeah, I'd rather go ahead and just do it as a precautionary thing. It's literally like, 10 seconds to bounce out of the stream, pull it down, and drop it in the plugins folder. I'll bet we bought all those anvils before the crash, too, didn't we? Have we seen any humans? We haven't, have we? Just kobolds and elves. Damn. I wonder if we'd looked at the civs before we started. Tiny little settlement civ and too far from the elves. We need to do something real fast. Let's bounce this out, save it real fast, save it off real fast, push it into Legends mode for a second, and come back to it for just a sec. Do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so now that we've bounced out for a second, we can back that up. Okay, with it backed up, we can go back in and we can pretend that we're retiring the fort and then pull it up in Legends mode. You don't want to do this with your default fort without backing it up because you want to be able to put the fort back when you're done, and you can't unretire the fort if it gets conquered during the Legends mode export, for example. So having done that, we can go export, and we can pretend like we're retiring, and it'll go, oh no, your fortress will be part of the world. Yeah, that's okay, we're good. We'll come back and we'll restore it after we've had a peek in Legends mode for a second. Because not to trade, not to sell, not to give away, just to stick in a bin in a basement somewhere. Rows upon rows upon rows of crates of nothing but... Let's see, we're going to Legends mode in Region 2, and now we can do another export of our map and information. So notice there's a time on this one. I'm going to copy these. Just in case I don't want to lose them if something should happen to them. We'll stick them in the same archive folder so I've got them handy if we need to restore them for whatever reason. And now we can do an XML dump, and map and gen info should all be the same anyway.